Yeah, man. Thank you for joining me. So, Taste of Vomit. That's a pretty creative name for. It sounds like a band, like a rock band name.
Yeah.
Do you like are you in a band or?
A very long time ago, I was in a rock band. But I guess like not so long ago. We kind of stopped like around 2020. The pandemic definitely made it more difficult.
You went solo route.
Well, I was doing both for a long time, and then it's just harder when you get older to be in a group, and at least for me, in my experience, and to practice and schedule times, and everyone's starting to have families. And things, and it just gets harder when you get older to, when you're a teenager, it's just like, we're not doing anything, like, come over, let's play music.
Right.
Like, it's very easy and whatever.
I've never been in a band, but I know it's like
I just think just doing anything in general. You play soccer, right? Like you can't really like
coordinate with everyone else.
Yeah, it's like if you want to get a game together or something, it's definitely not as easy as when you were, I don't know, 17.
Yeah, people just came out like to the streets and like the game started basically.
Yeah,
or, like,
exactly.
Everywhere you go, like it's not the same anymore. No, we gotta work. But it makes sense, I guess, with a band, keeping a band. But I know a few people are still going at it.
Yeah, absolutely.
People do it because it's kind of like me. I still play soccer.
Yeah.
I don't want to stop playing like something that I enjoy. Doing something 100%. That I enjoy.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why a lot of people, maybe their band is not gonna become famous overnight. But they're like, hey, we're just doing this for fun. Let's get together and continue practicing.
That's why I still do my own stuff, is because I just enjoy it, and
So I mean, your music, you just released some new music, right?
Yeah. I just put out a record called The Indoorsman a little while ago. Yeah.
The Indoorsman, right?
The
Indoorsman.
Yeah. Just like it's kind of like a play on like the magazine, like Outdoorsman, like magazine or whatever.
Yeah.
Just like flipped it or whatever.
Yeah. So you're like staying indoors, or like
Well, it's kind of just like a metaphor. I think I was trying to use it because the whole progress of the record is kind of like finding hope and things like that, and I used like indoors as a metaphor for being like stuck in your head and things like that. It wasn't supposed to be like literally indoors.
Right.
Of like this idea of what indoors represents, of like this darker place or whatever, and going outside is like finding the lighter side of life or whatever, things like that.
Right. Yeah, because I mean, I follow you on Instagram, and like nowadays we're like more about like mental health and about like especially guys' mental health, because they say that we kind of like neglected like the boys and the guys growing up.
Yeah,
like because we're supposed to suck it up. And just deal with it.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that.
Is that some of that on the Indoorsman?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff about mental health on there and stuff, and I talk about it in my music a lot, but yeah, I think it's important to talk about and stuff. Obviously don't go too far where you feel uncomfortable or whatever, but whatever you're comfortable with or whatever. I just think like, it's just important to acknowledge, even just to ourselves, even if we're not saying it loudly, but just acknowledge to ourselves, like the way that we speak to ourselves, and you don't have to be like, suck it up, like the whole time. Like even the way you speak to yourself is really important, and it's just like, people have a hard time. It's hard, like being a human is hard. We don't talk about it, like it's so like weird, and like paying bills and and just the work, like everything, it's a lot of things are hard, and we should just acknowledge that and be more gentle with ourselves.
I was just thinking that like, how it's hard to be kind of like enjoy life when there's like, when you look outside and or like all the news and everything that's going on in the world.
Definitely.
It's like you can easily get depressed. So, but like it's, you guys definitely be like more in tune with your own health first, like know thyself, they say, like know what, like we all like dealing with like past of or just things that the way we grew up, that we gotta address and that way we can move forward. Like,
100%. I feel like people don't totally realize how much like things that happen when they're a little kid shape them and how they treat other people, and like maybe the reason that you're like getting frustrated at someone or whatever, you have like weird relationship things, is because of the way like your parents or grandparents treated you or whatever. Like we really gotta like think about that kind of stuff, because it does affect us, like things that happen when we're a little kid, the way that we talk to people, the things that we're scared about, and things like that.
It's things that I guess because no one had like a guide on like how to, like, especially if you grew up in the 90s, I feel like, or like if you were raised in the 90s, like like I feel like everyone was doing it wrong in some like 80s, 90s, like it was like no perfect way. And
I feel like that's kind of true always. I mean, none of our, like, think about, like, I don't know, like, do you have children or anything like that? I don't either, but, like, I think about it a lot of people that I know have kids, and, like, you don't know what you're doing, like, they don't know what they're doing, and, you like, think about, like, I don't even know how to, like, take care of myself. How am I going to take care of a little kid? Like, you know what I mean? We're all just trying our best and figuring it out as we go, and people make mistakes and whatever.
And then you got to pretend like you do know what you're doing if you're a parent.
Yeah.
I mean, not only as a parent, but as a person too.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, but we're all winging it out here. That's what makes me feel good sometimes, because like we realize that we're all winging it. We're all doing our best.
Yeah.
And the people that kind of like, are more comfortable than others, being, more social and, and being more like on stage and things like that. And there's other people that is going, like, it's a journey for them, for me, because I've never been the one that likes the spotlight.
Oh, trust me, I still, like, I've been doing it for many years, and I get up there, but I am terrified all the time. Yeah. I am terrified.
I've done a few poetry events, so it's all new to me. Like I remember when I was in college, like they had a Toastmaster come around and talk about public speaking. So I mean, that eventually you might have to do that. But getting on stage, it is nerve-wracking. I mean, public speaking is nerve-wracking. Being in front of a camera.
I feel like public speaking is even harder in some ways, because I feel like for what I do personally, like I'm so rehearsed and practiced, and I know exactly what's going to happen, and everything is planned out. And I feel like when you're doing even like doing things like this, like it's like kind of like anxious and stuff, because like I didn't practice, like you can't memorize things or whatever, like I can't have a whole,
I mean, public speaking, like people do write their speech. So I mean, podcast is all about getting comfortable in front of the camera, and not ramble, which we're probably gonna be doing here, but I mean, that's what is about. Like, that's why I pressed record earlier, because we're talking about like all the things that I want to do, and like the editing part, how we struggle with it and all that. Like
and your screenplay thing and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I feel like we all have this artistic side that we need to explore, like on top of everything else. But then like the system, or like the way things are in America, like you have to focus on just working, or making ends meet, and people don't really explore that side. So I mean, that's why.
Yeah, because sometimes it's just tiring. You go out and you're doing your thing all day, and then you go home and it's just like, I just want to take a nap and watch TV or whatever it is. But like, I think for some people it's just like, I don't know, like I feel like I have to do it in a way, like I can't not, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I'll explode or something. But like I definitely understand people who come home and they're just like, I just like, I'm tired. There's some days where I don't feel like doing certain things or whatever. There's definitely parts of this that are tiring, and answering emails and all that stuff.
Yeah, like even the side of like when you do art, the people that are artists and do paint, and do paintings, like they have to deal with the like you said, the business side, sending emails.
Yeah,
and all
getting
that.
into galleries and all the whatever things, and trying to and dealing with the post. Or they're selling prints and stuff, going to the post office, and there's just like so many other things that people don't realize. Like especially for independent people who, you know, wear all the hats themselves and whatever. It's just like, I wish if it was just creating, like that would be amazing. Like if I could hire somebody to mail out stuff and answer emails and book shows and blah 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 blah, I would be very happy.
That's true.
It's very, you know, the little bit of money I do make just goes back into it. So you kind of just do it yourself. I also learned how to do a lot of things myself to save money because I don't have a lot of money or make a lot of money. So I kind of figured it out myself.
I mean, that's the nice part about it. Like, you know, like you continually learning. Like when you venture into like your art, you know, on creating. You have to, you know, run into those obstacles. I'm like, where like if you want to like make it to a certain level of quality, you have to get this mic, or you have to learn how to use this program and all this, and it's all teaching you things that, you know, eventually you get to like a point where like you want to try something else. Like, talk about like people that do poetry, like get into other stuff too, like music, you know, acting, or people that start with like rapping, they get into acting. You know, there's other things that they get into. So there's the journey is also like that comes with like exploring your art, you know, and see what you can create.
Yeah, and then learning other things that you're interested in or whatever. Like, example, we were just talking about like the video and stuff like that. Like, definitely super amateur at it, but I found an interest in doing video stuff because I had to learn it for myself, and now I found out that I enjoy it, and you know, and different things like that.
And then you find out that there are people making a living out of like, you know, and there's levels to it too, like Steven Spielberg type of stuff, you know, like but then you got like short films, and then you know, even TikTok videos can be like high quality now, like, you know, when it comes to video, creating like getting creative with the editing and all that, the directing, the producing.
That's one of the great things about being alive right now in this time frame, is that like you can like do a lot of things with cheaper like there's more access to gear, like you know, your phone or whatever. Like everyone has like a phone. You can make some pretty good quality stuff just on there. And like anything that you don't know, like you can look up like on Reddit or YouTube or whatever, these all these sites, you can just learn how to do things, you know. And that didn't exactly exist, you know, before.
You had to go to the library
10, 15 years ago.
That's when colleges were necessary.
Find some weird guy and be like, teach me how to do it. Some guy in like tie-dye t-shirts like under the bridge teaching you how to do video things or something.
Yeah, exactly. That's true.
Your older brother's weird friend who like has a video camera or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, that's true. The times now you can delve into anything. So, I mean, I'm learning a lot from YouTube, you know.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, 1,000,000%. You can learn a lot of things on YouTube.
I mean, that's why like I tell people, like, you don't necessarily have to go to college anymore, even though some things you do need like degrees for, like engineering, you know, architecture, you know, the healthcare industry, you know, certain things. But to be successful, I mean, you know, it's all about like taking your own, you know, taking it into your own hands to like the things that you want to learn and get better at, because it's a room for everyone. We gotta remember that, you know. And a lot of people find competition in that, but they're absolutely, what you're saying is absolutely true. There is room for everyone to do something. Yeah,
like, I don't know, like, you know, there's infinite things on whatever, like if you're doing like art or whatever, like, you know, there's you put it all up on the internet or find space at a gallery or some weird little coffee shop across the street from your house or whatever, you know. There's just we don't have to all compete against each other. I don't know. I don't believe that, at least, you know.
I mean, I feel like that's one of the things about capitalism that kind of creates this mentality of like you gotta be competitive and like put the other person out of business. I mean, came from Rockefeller. You know, Rockefeller put everyone out of business. You know, just so he can monopolize and take over. I mean, he was ambitious, and everyone kind of like admires that now. Like the tech people or the people that run companies.
Oh yeah, they're all buying out their competitions, and then they don't have to worry about it. But for me, in my opinion at least, if you just have the superior thing, people are gonna, like, you don't gotta push somebody else down. Like, you can just stand up straighter. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't believe that you have to, like, trash somebody or compete against somebody in the way that, like, you're, like, trying to end them. You just be better than, just be,
you can
do
compete,
something more interesting or whatever. And people gravitate towards that. Like, you don't have to... Like, I don't know, Facebook and whatever, like, he didn't have to buy Instagram to not compete, like, to make something better than that. Like, make your own thing better than that. That's just how I feel. Like, you don't need to, like, push your enemies down. Like, I don't know, you know, just make something interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's one side about, you know, business, like we all have that about humans. We all have that competitive side. We like, I play soccer. You have to be competitive. You know?
Absolutely.
But
you don't have to break your opponent's ankle. You could just be a better player.
Exactly.
You could just practice harder and become a better player.
Right. It pushes. It's supposed to push you to become better. You're not supposed to like.
If you see
try to take your opponent down, that way you can be better. And be the last
like if
one
you
standing.
see somebody on the other side that's better than you, and you're just like, oh man, he's really better than me. Then next week you sit down, you practice harder, you figure out what they're doing, you watch their tapes, you figure out their thing. But like, you don't have to like take him out to do that. Like, you know what I mean? You could just be better. I don't know.
Did you? So I feel like, so I went to school for like business management. That's my degree, which I kind of used. I don't really use. I mean, there were some classes like economy that teach you about economics, and so I kind of does intrigue me, like how, you know, all that the different systems like the capitalism, socialism, and communism. And I feel like if you look at it, like capitalism on its own, like, is unsustainable, and I feel like what is missing is like the compassionate side. So you got the competitive side. So I feel like you got to learn how humans are. Humans are competitive. We're also compassionate, and capitalism only addresses the competitive side of humans. Like, it's very innovative. You know, it's very helpful. Like, we have the technology that we have today. You know, and all the products that we have today because of you know, capitalism. But then there's like the socialism side, which wouldn't like leave homeless people living in the street. You know, like, you know, we take care of society. You know, like, I feel like they can operate together, and they need to, like, capitalism by its own, which they want to say that it's working well, which is not.
I also don't think that we have a completely capitalistic society, because, for example, just like a few months ago, we bailed out a whole bunch of banks. That's not capitalism. Capitalism will say that the banks are failing, they fail. Let them go. Like, you know what I mean? So like, in a lot of ways, we are not totally capitalist.
No, we're not, because if you think about it, you would allow immigration to flow freely, because it's the free market. You know. But no, they want to stop that. You know. So there is some.
There's a lot of different things mixed in. But yeah, I don't know. I have a lot of thoughts about stuff like that. But like, it's just like, I don't know. For me, it's just about like, just do something good. Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like you don't have to ruin somebody else to be great, I guess is what it boils down to. And I feel like that's what a lot of my personal like political issues with capitalism arise from. That I just feel like you don't have to, like, I feel like a lot of people say like, my neighbor can't succeed because that means I don't succeed. And I don't believe that. And I just think that you can succeed and they can succeed. Just leave them like whatever. Like, you know what I mean?
I believe
like
that.
It doesn't have to, you don't have to yeah, like I just keep saying, like, you don't have to ruin somebody else to be great. Like, you can just be great or whatever.
There's that fear that people have, you know, like that is created, like the scarcity, you know, or scarcity, like, you know, where there might not be enough for everyone.
We're one of the richest nations in the world, and we have so much.
I think we just gotta change. Like, if I could like dream big, I was thinking about like, what do I really want to do in life? What kind of impact? And I want to change the course of like the economy or the way we do business. Kind of like, I feel like that's why I mentioned like socialism needs to be more involved, and so. I feel like, yeah, like it's capitalism needs to, like, if we continue in this path with capitalism, it's just gonna keep destroying Earth, like polluting. The other aspect of it is like it's not environmentally friendly on its own, because it's all about like finding the resources, the minerals, like
the cheapest thing, which is the cheapest thing is dangerous to the planet.
And it's all about consumerism, or they want to like find the people they can shove it down their throat. You know, like all this food. You know, all this the marketing is in such a way where like they want to get, you know, your attention and your money. You know, so we need to like change like this idea of like we got the GDP got to keep growing. You know, it's like we just got to be sustainable. You know, like so yeah, like it's. Like it's not only about like not hurting people. It's about like, can we change? I mean, yeah, it is like, but the system itself is like it's not helpful. You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna keep hurting people.
The
way it operates, you know, it's gonna like leave some people stranded and things like that. You know, so.
It's also it's built to the people who made the rules to win, like, you know what I mean? It's not made for the people who already didn't have something to win.
Yeah.
You know, in a lot of ways, they make the rules, so they make the rules that they stay and whatever. Yeah. And that's also not capitalism, right? Like, you know what I mean? Right. Like, if you're changing the rules so that you can win, like, you can't, like, you know, going back to the soccer thing, like, you can't be there, like, you can't be losing the game and then be like, oh, by the way, now you're not allowed to do this thing. Right. Like, you can't have a red jersey and the other team has red jerseys and be like, oh, we won. Like, you can't, like, do that. And I feel like that's what we're doing a lot. And kind of in a lot of the, you know, developed world is a lot of that.
But, I mean, that's what I'm saying, that we mentioned earlier, like, that's why everyone's having, like, breakdowns or, like, having issues mentally because of the way the system operates, the way like it's, if you don't watch your back, you know, like someone, you know, you might lose your house. You know,
1,000,000%. It's just so expensive to be alive and everything.
Yeah, to die.
Even, yes, that as well. Which is so crazy. Like, there's no like cheap like put me in the dumpster like option or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything is just so. And if you think about like the exponential things from like when like say like our parents were growing up, or even worse, our grandparents or whatever, it was just like they could live, you know, minimum wage in this country at one point meant the minimum wage to survive on your own, and how it was like what the cheapest like mortgage rate was. It was like a math problem of all these things, and like now, like I don't know, like I have roommates. I don't know like what your situation is, but I wouldn't be able to live on my. I can't afford to live on my own in this city in Philadelphia. It's insane. I would never be able to live on my own in Philadelphia.
Right.
But yeah, like let's say like our grandparents in the same situation, like I don't know, my grandfather was the only one who worked, my grandmother stayed at home, and they could support 3 kids or whatever, and like on his wage, you know what I mean? And he just like serviced like oil heaters and stuff like that. My other grandpa, same thing, but he did he was in like the Teamsters and stuff. He built like scaffolding and stuff for construction, but like if I get any of those jobs, I would never be able to support like a partner and kids and have a house and own a house. I would never be able to support that. Doing the same exact job.
I mean, nowadays, like being a teacher, like you can't.
Oh yeah.
Like if you want to like educate, like if you want to do something meaningful, like being a teacher, like
absolutely,
it's going to mean you're gonna struggle to.
And it's also so sad that like a lot of times they're buying the little stickers for the kids and they're buying the little markers or whatever craft things, and
they should have a credit card like from the government or something. You know, like where they can buy anything.
Yeah, teachers definitely have it hard.
That's what I've been thinking about.
And they're like doing one of the most important jobs out there.
Yeah.
And people are just paying them nothing.
Like if you're gonna pay them a certain amount, well, at least take care of their housing or something, you know, like or some of their expenses. Give them a credit card, you know, things like that. Because, but the school system is already like is pretty horrible, you know, for the most part. I think everything is operating in a very mediocre level. The government in general too, like the way it's set up, where like the checks and balances kind of like supposed to like keep from any of the branches having overt power, but it also like slows down progress when it comes to bills being passed.
All that stuff takes forever. And sometimes it's too late. Like, you know, you're just like, oh, we needed to do this 6 months ago or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Like it takes so long, and then like certain bills come with other stuff attached to it.
And they try to sneak things in there. Yeah, I don't understand how any of that works. I don't understand why it can't just be like, and also like I don't know, like when you go to vote too, like it's like written in such like when you do the question, you know, the questions like at the end of like when you're voting and stuff, it's written in such like crazy language. Like, what does this even mean? Like, it's very confusing. It's not just like simply, do you want this to happen or do you not want this to happen? Like, we could just write it like that. Like, it doesn't have to be written so crazy. I don't know.
I think with the technology that we have today, we can do a lot of things through like an app, where like we can even do voting through an app. It seems that it might, like, we have ways to authenticate like someone like vote, you know, where like they can like maybe use their retina, you know, and fingerprints and all these steps that you gotta do, maybe your voice, like 3 different like ways, you know, to like,
I mean,
okay, it's a real person.
Phones really do have like thumb things and whatever. Excuse me.
But and that's things that I think about, like how the government is so inefficient, like it's so archaic. Like now, like representatives used to represent, like actually represent their people, and it was less people like back then, and it was because like they were represented because like not everyone could go to go vote for something, right? Like so they were representing the vote of, you know, their people. And now everyone votes like their representatives vote however they want. Like it doesn't mean if like the majority of the people living in their district wants this, you know, they're gonna vote for the other thing. So it's broken, you know.
Also, a lot of people, maybe not a lot. I often find that some people don't even like check in with what their representatives represent. They just just like vote on party lines and like, oh, like I'm a Democrat, I'm gonna vote all Democrat, or I'm gonna vote all Republican or whatever it is. But like you don't look into individuals. Maybe like you're mostly have like Democrat like party views or whatever, but maybe the one person that does this thing, you have like a libertarian thing or whatever it is, and just like half these people are not looking into what these people represent. They're just voting on the colors.
Yeah, you know? Well, actually, like, what do they call it? Like identity politics. It's like someone's very likable or charismatic, but their voices, I mean,
or they have like weak shoulders or something, so I'm not going to vote for him because he like slouches or whatever. All
like Bernie Sanders.
So ridiculous.
I was a Bernie Sanders supporter, like, but you know, whatever. Like, he didn't stand a chance against like the big system.
Yeah. I thought he had a lot of good. I didn't 100% agree with all of his ideas, but I thought he had a lot of good motives, and I thought he was trying the most. That's another thing too.
Yeah, exactly.
Like he wanted to try things, which I feel like a lot of the other two like big party people, you know, and just my opinion and whatever, but like a lot of the other people were just like, we kind of wanted to keep just doing what our party was doing. Like he, like at least wanted to try something, and it was just like.
Or they want to focus on like the topics that divide, like, you know, the abortion topic, and like, or like everything that's going on right now with like, you know, the LGBTQ movement. Like they want to like create like a division where like there's no moving forward. But I mean, instead of like actually like voting like things that would benefit like the average or like the working class, you know, where like they can take out a loan from a bank, you know, like for $30,000 or more, and with low interest, instead of like having to take out a mortgage, like things like that. Like the only thing you can take easier for you to take out a mortgage or student loans than for you to take out a loan of $20,000.
It's also easier for the banks to take a loan from the government than it is for me to take a loan out of the same bank, which is like pretty crazy. You know, that's another thing. Is like credit and stuff like that has gotten so strange, and it doesn't mean anything. And it's just like. What is it, like, why, like, you know, why do we have to have, why can't we start, like, why do people start with bad credit is, like, pretty crazy. Like, if you never used, like, if you never borrowed money, you can't borrow money, which is so weird. Like, you have to get a cosigner and all this, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And, like, it's all this craziness, and it's just, like, I don't know. I don't understand it. And
it's supposed to be, like you said, they do it like that to benefit. Well,
it's because they make money, and it's just like those things where they say, like, if you pay off your credit card or whatever, your credit doesn't build as fast as if you let your interest build up and then you pay it off. Like, it builds it faster or whatever. And it's just because, like, it shouldn't, because they make more money. So then you get rewarded because you're giving them more money. And I just, like, that's kind of crazy. Like, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like the interest on credit cards are like, they're like almost like a quarter percent, like, you know, like 25%. Yeah, which goes to show you how much the government has allowed, you know, through the years. You know, that, like, the fact that, like, it's things that I think about, like even your insurance, like depends, like your rate depends on your credit, you know.
Which like, is crazy,
And like, where's the protection for like in even like the housing, like where there's affordable housing for everyone, you know. If you want to keep capitalism, at least like make it affordable for the majority, you know. Like, where do you have to have like triple your income as proof, you know, deposit.
That's insane. And then to pay, like, you have to pay first and last, and then another thing for like the security deposit and all this. And
I don't even know why is that necessary, but yeah,
I guess it's like if you trash their thing, but like
they want the money up front.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, the whole thing's kind of crazy.
Yeah, like those were, I mean, if the government is gonna get involved, it should be getting involved in our side, like.
And also I think there should be, and again, just like my opinion, there should be like limitations, like on rent. There should be like maximum percentage, like things or whatever. Like, I don't know, you can evaluate the worth of the house or whatever. Say the house is worth whatever, $200,000, $300,000 or whatever, and you're only allowed to charge the rent a percentage of what that house is worth or whatever. Like, we could do things like that, like, you know what I mean? But no, especially like in New York City and stuff like that, and even in Philadelphia, I guess all major cities, but especially like huge cities like New York and LA and all that. It's just like, I don't know, it's like, you know, it's 800 times what like their mortgage is.
You get a smaller space, you know, like. like the closer you get to like the bigger cities, more expensive.
Yeah, and you're boxed into a smaller space, stacked all on top of each other.
Yeah. Are you from Philly?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I grew up in both the city and the suburbs, back and forth, and but the close
Eagles
by
fan
suburbs.
Yeah.
I'm not super huge into especially football, but I enjoy it and I watch it sometimes.
What do you think about what do you think about Philly? I mean, throughout your, I guess, life.
I mean, it's the only thing I know.
Okay. Gotcha.
So I don't know, but I don't have any strong opinions about it. I feel like people have like some kind of weird like stereotype and stuff like that. But I do feel like, I don't know, I do think the Northeast in general, like Philly, Boston, New York, things like there is a certain like, I don't know, maybe honesty I would use more so than like the southern states are kind of like, a lot of people are just like, and it's definitely faster. Philly is definitely a faster city and things like that.
Well, the honesty, I've seen it like when it comes to like sports, like
definitely Philly.
Like sports. The way the fans are, like they'll like insult you until you have a good day.
I was just talking about this with my roommate. It's really interesting. Somebody was doing, damn, I really wish I remember who it was, but somebody was doing an interview from like, it was whoever was playing the Union like a week ago or whatever, and they were talking about how like they're like they couldn't believe the city was booing one of their own people or something like that or whatever. I was just like, oh, like other cities don't do that. Like it was just so strange to me. I was like, you're doing bad, we're gonna boo you. Like I guess that ties into the honesty too. Like it's just like. People.
I was wearing this hat. It was in New York, and this guy was like, "Get the fuck out of
here." People find strong allegiance to it. I don't know. I think it's fun. Like and if you get enjoyment out of it, like it's fun little rivalries and things like that, and it's enjoyable. But it was very surprising to me that other fans weren't like, I guess.
I mean, the craziest fans are probably the Dallas Cowboys fans. But
but Philly definitely has to be up there close.
But they're not as delusional as the Cowboys fans. Just kidding. But I enjoy Philly. I've been here 2 years.
Where were you from before this?
I was living in Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
For like 10 years.
You did tell me that.
And then prior to that, I grew up in Texas, in East Texas, small town. But so I come from a small town, moved to a mid-sized city, and then so I've kind of been growing.
Were you in the city in Indianapolis?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
And it's a little more spread out. Like it's like the differences are drastic. Like compared to living in Philly, like there's like everything a little more condensed, of course, a little more traffic. But like we don't have the commuting system like we have over here in the East Coast, that makes a difference, to finding like the communities or like it's just like Midwest lifestyle compared to like the city East Coast lifestyle is like it's more hubs, more like over there is like just everyone to their own. Okay. Yeah, I mean, but it's definitely like a lot going on in Philly. Like, every night there's something going on.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I'm pretty sure that's happening in New York and Boston, like you said.
There's a really great art scene in Philly. There's a lot of really great.
That's what they say. Like it's definitely a very creative city compared to other places, above average. Like a lot of artists and celebrities are from here, which kind of makes you think like this is a spot for a melting pot or whatever you want to call it, like a spot where creativity happens, creative people come about, because I mean we can go down the list of amazing people. I love the city, man. I enjoy one of my favorite things is driving through like the City Hall area, Center City area, like all the way to like Kelly Drive.
Yeah.
Like,
Kelly Drive is beautiful.
Yeah, Kelly Drive is beautiful.
For sure.
Yeah, and then the further you get away from there, like just like another city, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, they got small areas or some neighborhoods that are nice. East Falls, you know.
Okay, yeah. I know East Falls.
Manayunk is nice, you know. But yeah, I mean, I love your city. It's your city.
Yeah, I get kind of. I don't know.
So where you grew up, you don't claim it, right? You know,
yeah, I don't know.
You been in Texas?
I've never been to Texas, no, but I really want to go. One of my, I went on like a small tour last year, and I linked up with this artist named Air Max, and
Air Max.
He's from, he spells it like H-E-I-R, but like it's supposed to be a play on the shoe, but also like
Air Max,
like on the air. Yeah, it was very interesting. But yeah, he's from Texas, so I was like, trying to talk to him about maybe like going down there to do a couple shows. We have a couple songs together and stuff like that.
I know a few artists over there from my hometown.
Where was your hometown?
East Texas. So it's like it's called Nacogdoches.
Okay.
Tyler, Texas. It's basically like the closest. It's about 2.5 hours from Houston, 2.5 hours or so from Dallas. So it's like in between.
Okay.
Like, you know, if you know, it's kind of like here, East Texas.
Yeah.
Louisiana over here. So so we got Louisiana to the east.
Would you go to like any of the cities like often when you were growing
Houston,
up? Yeah,
mainly Houston. My dad took us because he used to like going to the flea markets.
Oh, okay.
And then with my friends, once we got to like high school,
like driving age and stuff.
Go to like concerts over there.
Oh yeah.
I lived in San Antonio for a little bit. San Antonio's nice.
Yeah.
It's a pretty nice city. Like it's not huge, just hill country. So it's like got a pretty good vibe to it. Man. Dallas is huge though.
Texas is huge, and there's like 4 or 5 like pretty major cities in Texas. Like it's like Austin, Houston. Dallas.
and then you can explore like the little towns.
Yeah.
You know, which is not much going on, but you know, like just the country life.
Yeah.
But yeah, we grew up around like what they call it, the dirty South music. You know, like you know any of the like Lil Flip, Paul Wall.
Yeah. I know that stuff.
Yeah, Chamillionaire, you know.
Yeah.
All those people, yeah. Pimp C, you ever heard of Pimp C?
Yeah.
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 So not a lot of Jay-Z over there. You know, I know people call him the GOAT over here in the East.
Yeah, maybe I never even thought of this. Maybe because I grew up like, you know, in the Northeast, but yeah, I definitely gravitated more towards like the Jay-Z's.
That's why, because we grew up in the Northeast.
Yeah.
You kind of like.
Yeah, it's more like
that's his area, like
familiar.
I guess if you like do like a vote of like people that grew up in the Northeast, what they grew up listening to. You know, Notorious B.I.G., maybe Nas, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Compared to like in the dirty South, you got like Lil Wayne, Boosie.
Definitely an exception for me is Outkast. I always like loved Outkast. I know that's a little bit different because that's, you know, Atlanta,
from Memphis, right?
Atlanta, I think.
Oh yeah, Atlanta, my bad. The Memphis music is up there too.
Yeah.
You know, Project Pat, 3 6 Mafia.
Yeah. 3 6 Mafia is crazy. Yeah. They were definitely super innovative too. They were like kind of the first to do that whole like shock rock, like like horror stuff or whatever.
Yeah, like a big creepy type of music that they made. But yeah, they had their own style. Oh yeah, Chop and Screw music in Texas, DJ Screw. But yeah, man, I mean, do you have like any like rappers from Philly like that like you grew up listening to, or like you're like, well, they're from my neighborhood or something like that?
Not necessarily. Like I maybe not really because they were from Philly. Like like growing up, like I definitely was like really into like Jedi Mind Tricks and stuff like that, who are like from Philly.
Okay.
The Roots, obviously.
Yeah, the Roots.
Like I liked all that stuff, but I don't think it was necessarily because it was from Philly. I'm not personally so tied to like location and things like that. I just like certain sounds and textures and things like that. And I think just coincidentally, I like a lot of sounds and textures from the Northeast area. I don't know, but it's not just because they're from Philly, I guess. I mean, at least not consciously or whatever. You know what I mean?
I mean, I'm sure you grew up listening to like people from all over.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially like in the 2000s, right? Like we already had the technology where like we're discovering artists from all over the place.
Yeah, in the 2000s when I was like, and I still like have a special place in my heart for this stuff, but I loved like the pop stuff, like in the thing. I loved like Nelly and Missy Elliott and like all that stuff. Like I loved all that like pop stuff from when I was like growing up and stuff. I feel like a lot of people maybe hear my music and think like I like more like artsy stuff, which I do, but I also really like the Ja Rule and Nelly's and stuff. Like it's a lot of fun. Like I really enjoy like that stuff too. Like
Oh, people are nostalgic about that era. Yeah, definitely. I thought you were gonna say like Backstreet Boys when you said. I grew up listening to.
I also
their cassette.
I love that. I mean, I don't listen to it now, but there's definitely a period of time where I enjoyed all this stuff too. And I still, like, it's fun. Like, when I was a kid, not a kid, I guess, but when I was a teenager or whatever, I thought it would be fun to try to write, like, a boy band song and stuff like that. And, like, I like all that stuff. It's a lot of fun. Like, I don't know, like, people trash stuff because it's whatever. I don't know. I feel like some people
everyone used to jam to it. Now they want, like, for example, they trash, was that band, I forgot the name of the band. What was a rock band that like people were like, oh, you listen to that stuff?
I've never like, I don't know. Some of it like, I think there's a time and a place for it, but like if you're just driving down the car, I don't know, like stuff like I Want It That Way, Backstreet Boys, it's a great song. You can't deny that that's a great pop song.
And they make good videos to them too. So.
I don't know what people think because something is simplistic or repetitive or something that means it's not interesting, or everything doesn't have to have some kind of like strong artistic merit. Like it could just be a fun song or a love song or something. It could just be a thing to enjoy that sounds good. Like it doesn't have to be some big like statement thing. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
I don't know.
With music.
There's a time and place for everything. But I think there's a time and place for like metaphoric, like artsy statement music, and there's a place for like party music and stuff. There's a place for all that stuff. Like
like times. EDM music, I feel like the best way to enjoy it is live. People listen to it all the time. It's people that's their favorite genre. But I'm like, if you're gonna listen to it, you better like do it at a concert.
Yeah, with the heavy like subwoofers, like feeling it in your like bones and stuff, and like rattling.
I did go to a Steve Aoki concert. It was pretty fun.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it was him.
Where was that at? Was that here?
No, Indianapolis.
Oh, okay.
And he was throwing cakes. But it was nice to experience that. I think Designer was there. I think it was the same night. Designer, like the rapper, like the Panda. Yeah. I wanted to see that performance. He did alright. But that's one thing about artists, man. Like their performance. Like when they get into it. That's. I seen you like getting into your music. When you gotta go on stage. But yeah, man. So, what kind of like inspirations or like what kind of music do you like feel like you like to make? I think that's like two questions. But.
Let's
talk about your music, man. Like, cause you're a solo artist, right?
Yeah.
And cause you used to be in a band now.
Yeah. But yeah, I've been doing like rap stuff for like a while. I started out like just doing like freestyle stuff, like having fun at parties, like not really taking anything too seriously. And then at some point, someone kind of like just booked me on a show because they knew that I was like they knew that I rapped, but I didn't have any songs. And I kind of just like had to make up songs to be on this show because I was just like, like I don't really like do like, I was just like, I'm just having fun. But then like I fell in love with it. I always like grew up like in hip hop too. Like I always like loved it. And because I like I just love music and art in general. And I feel like I'm more tied to how something makes me feel than I am like specific sonic aesthetics of genre rules or whatever like that. Like to me, like things like Public Enemy or whatever is the same thing as like hardcore punk bands like Agnostic Front or whatever. It's like the same energy. Like they sound different, but to me it feels the same. So I like both of these things. Like you know what I mean? Or like I don't know. Makes when sense. I was a little not a little kid, but when I was like I don't know, 10, 11, 12 or whatever, when I was first getting into my own music or whatever, I definitely gravitated towards like more angry stuff. I was definitely, and I'm in my mid-30s now, so a lot of stuff that was popular then when I was 10, 11, 12 or whatever was a lot of the Korn, whatever. Okay. And also like Exhibit and DMX and whatever, and I never found like a difference between.
It was just
like
the times,
because it's also DMX is very similar energy to me as the Limp Bizkit and Deftones. Like what I mean? It's true. All kind of feels the same to me. I don't limit myself to genre in that way or Makes whatever.
Sense, I mean, as long as you find like a beat or have a band or something to make the music, and then you write something to it, right? Or come up with an idea, behind it. And it's like you shouldn't like narrow it to like, I only make rap, I only make this type of music, Yeah, definitely. I mean, I haven't done. I mean, I've done a few tracks like that I got on SoundCloud, but it's not like something that I've been pursuing. Like it started similar, like when my friends like. I had a friend that they made music growing up, and we got together at parties and freestyle. And
I wish I was way better at it when I was a kid. I really kind of want to get back into it because like
I thought I was good, but then there's like always the
person
fillers.
who's way better,
Or the fillers words that they want you to like eliminate, like the man or like hold up or like man hold up. You're from Texas, so you say man hold up a lot,
But that's what a lot of the professionals do. They just spice it up in a different way or whatever, so it's not as noticeable. But
true.
Yeah, I really want to get back into it, and I think it's something that like if I just like do more often, like I'll get back into it.
Definitely.
But
get the
I also like
going.
As I got older, I started like way overthinking, and like like when you're young, you're just like I don't really care, like if this makes any sense, like or whatever.
Freestyle, like gotta have that mentality.
Because you gotta like let things go, like even if they don't make sense, you just gotta keep going and whatever. Not like overthink.
I mean, I do it whenever I'm like listening to songs, like or like listening to something while driving. And I start like putting words together because I'm always thinking like that because I do poetry. And sometimes when things just click or when I come up with stuff is while I'm listening to some music. So but and sometimes I do improvising but I do it by myself. But doing it like in a group of people and all that. That's definitely.
We recently did that for fun. We I think we were shooting like a live thing. We did like an Instagram live thing. Well, no, we were just doing our record. Did you meet Tim Jones?
Yeah.
We had a record together, and we did like an Instagram live thing where we just did the whole record like on Instagram live or whatever. So afterwards, we're all sitting, and there was a couple other people like who were just hanging out there, and like just for fun, like he had this like card thing that was like SpongeBob like meme, like it's supposed to be like just a party game, like a Cards Against Humanity thing. You flip a picture of SpongeBob and you gotta match it to some kind of joke or whatever it was. But we would just like flip the cards and it would be like the person had to rap about SpongeBob holding a $1 bill or whatever the thing was. Cool, and then you flip the next thing, it's like Mr. Krabs like picking his nose or whatever. You had to like freestyle about it picking his nose. And we just like keep going and flipping his cards. I'd be like, you go about, you start to talk about this or whatever. Fun. Yeah,
that's how you
all
get
this
better
stuff
at
is so fun. Like, I think like when I write music, I take it like so seriously, and I like sit there and I try to connect everything, and I rewrite, and like I sit there and I try to like, because I like to like write whole records as opposed to like individual songs, so I try to connect everything and make a whole like theme and metaphor and things like that. But like it is fun to just get to the root, like meat and potatoes of it, and just like make a couple punchlines and just like make a couple cool rhythms and whatever, I mean, rapping is fun too. Like I feel like people don't always remember that, you know what I mean? Or at least like people who do it, like forget like why, when you start it when you're a kid, and it's just like, oh, you're just rapping about the plant or the fucking YouTube thing or whatever. Yeah. And whatever. And wet grass sitting on my ass, the table, I don't know, we're telling another fable. Like I don't know, like it's just fun like doing stuff, like whatever. Exactly.
Like exactly, yeah. It is fun. I mean that's why we used to do it when we were like younger. I mean, I mean you said like like sometimes we forget like that it could be fun, or like you could be enjoying it while whatever like your craft is, like it's not supposed to be like something that you have to do, or like doesn't like see it as work, see it as something that you enjoy, and don't forget to that you're supposed to be like at least smiling through it, like, or like bringing you joy. It's something that I talk to like I have a coach, like she like helps me with artists, like be more connected to my artistry, and she like does like basically we're in a group chat and she sends like voice memos. She sent one like a theme about fun, how like basically how we forget to have fun when like the things that like the music that we make, the things that we're working on, that our artistry, we kind of like forget to that the main reason that we're doing it is because we enjoy it and we love it,
Yeah, because it is easy to get sucked up into like, oh, I only got like like this 80 YouTube views or whatever, and it's easy to like, oh, like this person got like 200 YouTube views and whatever. Like it's easy to get like sucked up into all that, and like sometimes getting obsessed with like, oh, I really want to be here, I'm only here. I just being obsessed with getting to that spot, like you can it's easy to forget like, oh, this is also fun, like I do want to still get here, and I will get here. I just have to remember that we enjoy these things or whatever it is. Enjoy it.
Exactly. Like it's don't sacrifice that, like, don't forget about that. Like, I mean, when I play soccer, like it's so easy to, like I still play competitively, like, it's an amateur league, but it gets competitive. And it can get to where like you're losing and you get angry, you're upset, but then you gotta snap out of it like as soon as it's over, like, or like kind of like remember that it's just a game, life is bigger than this,
and it's also just remember that you can go home, re-watch your game, see what you did wrong or whatever, or think about it. Maybe not literally watch, but like be like, oh, I can come back next week and I could do this better.
I do think about it like
that. Of course. And I think about my rap stuff too. Like when I just played a show last night, and like I tried a bunch of new things, and I'm like, all right, this worked, this did not work. I'm gonna do this differently this time. I'm gonna not do this song. I'm gonna switch it out with this song. Oh, this song worked really well. I'm definitely gonna do this song again. Like, you're constantly doing it. And same thing with soccer. Like you just like go back and be like, oh, like I could have like did this or whatever, and it's just like
it's that growth mindset.
It's just about that,
Because you said like even if you're not like whatever your performance was, like you got to think long term. Like it's just one night, or like one game. and how you can learn from it. Yeah, I guess the long-term thinking of like where you're not like, oh, I'm supposed like this is supposed to like make me like have 1,000 or like new followers or like like I'm supposed to blow up by this time, you know, like things like that. You just like that's gonna happen because but hey, I'm gonna do what I love, you know, like I'm getting better at it, and you know, and learning from reflecting on like, oh, they really like this song. Oh, like maybe I should start this way, you know. Yeah. I mean, it's I guess it's similar how it's crazy how like in soccer and then what you do music like we apply that
it really is the same. Like there is a lot of similarities in all of that stuff in whatever painting or whatever, you know, all that stuff is similar. Like you judge reactions and know how to do something better, and you come back next time and you up yourself and each next time, you know.
But like I mean, what were we talking about? Sorry.
I was distracted too. She's like filming the thing.
They're getting a tour of the place.
Okay.
And so they were trying to see what we were doing here.
Yeah.
But yeah, like the similarities. How like one of my favorite people is Bruce Lee, because some of his quotes is like I fear the man that practiced one kick 1,000 times instead of the man that only practice 1,000 kicks one time.
Then one who practice.
Yeah, how like you know, like the journey or not? Yeah, we keep saying journey, like the process of like being meticulous or like the determination to like knowing that you're not. And then I tell people this, like, you're gonna suck at something, you know, for a little bit, you know, before you get really good at it, and then you might become great at it. But you gotta be okay with sucking at something, you know, like going through those stages, or like, oh, it's the result is ugly, you know, like you're not completely happy with it.
I'm gonna totally mess up this quote because I don't exactly remember it, but Homeboy Sandman has a song called "The Musician," and there's this line about it that I will just paraphrase that basically says like, I'm not trying to be better than anybody, I'm only trying to be better than myself. Like I want my record to be better than my last record. And I feel like I feel that so much, and I relate to that so much in anything like rap, whatever. Just being a person, like being a good friend or partner or brother or son, whatever, like anything, like, you know, worker, whatever, like just even if you're like a 0.5% better than yesterday, all of a sudden 30 years later, like you're a way better whatever rapper, son, person, whatever, you know what I mean? Definitely. Like, and I definitely feel that. Like, I definitely wasn't all put together in my 20s and early 20s and teens. I was a mess, man. I exponentially, but like, you know, it's just about, being better than yesterday or whatever. And if you had like a bad day, or you're like, oh, I really wish I didn't treat that person like this, or I wish I didn't have this interaction, or I wish I had a better soccer game, or whatever the situation is, it's just like, all right, well, today I can go have a better soccer game, or I could be a better friend, or I could, whatever the thing is, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just about waking up the next day and be like, hey, what can I do a little bit better to make myself or the world a better place?
You definitely gotta have like some direction on where you want to go, and like that way, like you can, like if you want to become better at soccer, that's your goal, right? So
that's your goal. That's a good pun. Hey.
Exactly. I'm a poet.
Sorry, I was like, I can't resist.
Oh, because you're a rapper.
I can't resist.
It's all about the lyrics. But and so that means if you got that goal, you have to kind of like do things like through the week. Like maybe like I gotta improve my speed, you know, like so I gotta do this workout, that workout, or like I gotta like I got a lot of injuries, so I gotta like rest this or rest that, and make sure I'm 100% for the game.
Or like I was like a little sloppy with my feet, or I wasn't passing enough, or whatever.
Yeah,
or I gotta
like,
make sure to.
Man, I should not ate this prior to the game. Like,
yeah, even stuff like that. Yeah.
So that goal kind of like influences how you're gonna like, prepare for the next one.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, like you gotta have a sort of direction. I want to get better at my music. I want to make music that I enjoy. I guess that's a goal. But like, maybe you do have like a ultimate goal. Like I want to make a hit that people love. That gets over 1 million views. I mean, yeah, anything's possible nowadays with the internet.
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy. Like I'm definitely blessed enough that I have like people that found me on the internet and like follow my stuff and whatever, and it is crazy. Like I don't know, like I played a show in Connecticut and like people that I didn't know were there who like found me on the internet and whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh wow,
you
like,
never know.
It's so crazy. Like
wow.
Like how do you guys know these songs like or whatever? I never been here before. Like
yeah.
And it's just like little things like that, and it's all the internet, man. Like it's just like
I remember working with a colleague that said he was in a band. I think they had like a weird name to it, like Car Door Dick Smash or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it was because I love that.
Yeah, weird as name. Like it was like hardcore metal type of music, but he said like they got reached out by people in like I forgot Spain or somewhere.
Oh wow!
Like
like
they that found them like through the internet. Like they were like really love their music.
Yeah, I have a song with somebody from South Africa that I met on the internet. I have a song with somebody from like England that I met on the internet and stuff like that. And I don't even know how these things happen. Like it just like happens.
Yeah, you gotta be open to things like that.
Yeah,
that's important too. Like you gotta be ready for the opportunity, or like, I mean, like the harder you work, to say like the luckier you get. Like the opportunities come to you when you continually work.
Or like what you just said, like just being open to it. Like
that's key.
That's definitely a big thing. Like I feel like a lot of people stick to their group, like they only go to this spot or whatever it is. Like you know what I mean, and you got to be open to expanding out.
Yeah, like something
thing.
might come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Like, and you might not see the opportunity, or if you're not open to it, But if you're always like, anything can happen,
Yeah.
That's how people, collaborate, or and end up making like a huge hit or anything like. So, yeah, man, that's definitely. I agree with like the things that you say about like the. Not hurting people, or what we're talking about. Like, or like whatever you do, like don't be super competitive, where you're like you're selfish, you're not paying attention to how it's affecting others. Trying to put other people out.
Well, I guess I would want to correct myself. I don't mean like don't be competitive. I mean don't like don't.
No, you
ruin somebody else. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you could be competitive and just try to be a better thing. Like, you know what I mean? You could be a better soccer player.
Don't be like Drake and Pusha T, where they're trying to ruin each other.
Yeah. Like, you don't have to, ruin another person to be great. Like, you can just.
No, I mean, even when I play soccer, like, you gotta like compete, and then like you play at the edge, so you kind of like end up fouling people, but you don't want to hurt them.
Yeah.
You do gotta foul them, like sometimes, like maybe like trip them or something, but you don't want to foul them in a way where you break them or something.
Yeah.
Well, I come close to it, or like they break me. Like, it's that competitive. Like, there's been close calls.
Yeah.
But it's like, but it's hard because you like play at the edge, like, and like you play with that competitiveness. You sometimes you almost want to break someone.
Yeah.
I almost want to throw that elbow because you feel like they're pulling you and all this.
Yeah.
Like, fuck out, But then you like think afterwards, like, damn, what the fuck? Like, in the game, sometimes you end up like insulting the ref, and I'm like, damn, I should not have said that. Like, afterwards. The ref is gonna make mistakes. You know, he's gonna make a wrong call or something.
Yeah, especially like an amateur thing where it's only him or whatever. There's only one ref. He only has so much vision things. He's gonna miss things. You know.
Yeah, and he's not gonna get every call right. He's a human.
Yeah.
But you know, that's where like the competitiveness comes in. Where you're like, wow, what the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah,
like, you know, are you with them?
Yeah.
But then, I do feel like you gotta like have a place where you can compete. You know, like maybe people play video games. You know, they get competitive in video games.
Yeah.
Or maybe in their profession, like you know, they're competitive. But yeah, don't do it where like you ruin someone for sure.
I mean, I definitely like. I find inspiration in people that are better than me. Like if I'm on a show with somebody and I'm like, oh, like they were really, really good.
That takes
like,
growth.
You know what I mean?
You know?
And I'm just like, what did I like about? Why did I think they were good? What can I draw from that and apply to myself to make myself better or whatever? You know what I mean? And it's just like, And I think that's a form of competition too. Is just like. Oh, you know, I don't know. You know, I just want to.
It's not. Well, yeah, you have to learn to accept that there's gonna be. I mean, there's levels to everything. Like there's gonna be people that are really good at something that you're in. You know, and you shouldn't see it as like put yourself down or like be jealous. You're like, how can I like learn from, you know, put yourself in a position where you want to learn from it or like get inspired by it. Because we deal with negative emotions like jealousy.
100%. You know, I'm definitely not immune from that. I definitely go through periods and I have to check myself and be like, hey, like, you know, that's not really a fair thought. Like, you know what I mean? Yeah, but that's, part of being a human. Like, I feel like, you know.
Yeah, because there's like what you do and then there's the outcome to it, and then there's like, you know, you sometimes want to get a better outcome, or you know, sometimes it translates into, oh, you want 1,000 views, or you want like the crowd to react a certain way.
But there's so many things to that too that you have to like be like. It also matters what time of day you do it and whatever, and all these like crazy things that you have to like pay attention to, and you have no idea that if they paid for advertising or whatever, and you're just like, oh, so and so got like 1,000 hits on their thing, and I only got 200. But it's just like you don't know if they paid for ads, you don't know whatever, you don't know if they have financial backing from a label, etc. Like you have no idea, like whatever. So it's just like. I don't know.
That's why it's important to just focus on your art and not like the result or like the outcome, or like what people think. You know, like I put something on my Instagram. I think is like because I started to realize that they're gonna judge you regardless. You know, like but you're not supposed to be paying attention to them anyway. You're supposed to be paying attention to your paper, you know, basically whatever you're doing.
Don't like look over at the next guy's thing.
Yeah, you can't like see like you can't like, you know, as an artist, you're sensitive about your shit. You know, have you heard that song?
What?
Tech Nine, Fragile.
I don't think so.
It's a good song. I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my shit. It's like part of one of the lines. Kendrick Lamar's in it too. It's a hit. They talk about like how we're like when you're, you know, put your art out there, and you know, there's people that are gonna criticize it.
That is,
you know, and
hard,
you kind of
especially something personal. It's just like they're judging it as a product or whatever, and you're like, this is my life, you know, to you or whatever, but to them it's just like a product, like a CD or a music video or whatever it is. You know, and it's just like, I don't know, like, that's hard to differentiate sometimes. I don't know, like, I don't know. I haven't personally been in that situation yet. I don't know, like, how I would handle it, I guess, you know. Damn, dude, that was fast.
It was a good talk, man. We'll talk about a little bit of everything. I know I was mainly what it was about. It wasn't a specific topic, you know. Like whatever you know your ideas are on certain things. I mean, I think we talked about like a little bit of like prior to this that's why I brought up economics and socialism and all that, because we even got into that, you know. So, yeah, you know, just and about music, you know, because you make music. Yeah. You know, and who doesn't like music? You know, who doesn't listen to music, right? Yeah. I mean, you got your new stuff out there. As you say, you're getting a whole album.
I just put out a new record a couple of weeks ago. That was the endorsement. I have 2 music videos that I just put out. I'm finishing editing a 3rd one that'll be out soonish. Maybe not like soon.
Where can they get your album or hear your album?
Yeah, I mostly try to direct people towards my Bandcamp page, which is thetasteofvomit.bandcamp.com. I have cassettes for sale there and digital copies, but I'm also on Spotify and Apple and Tidal and all those things as well.
So you can find Yeah, definitely check him out. You know, he makes that good music. You know, that something different for sure. You know, like that's what I like. You know about like everyone's trying their own thing. You know, like. Then you get people like, you know, that are like, it's so easy to copy a style, but then like you have to kind of like you get influenced by everything that you listen to, you know, and apply that into your art, but make sure that you add your own twist to it as well.
Definitely.
You know, so that's why, you know, keep doing your art, man. Keep doing your music. And thank you for doing this interview.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I think
definitely. Good to wrap it up, you know. Thank you for if you got all the way to the end of this. You know, we're gonna have more. And yeah, check out Taste of Vomit on Instagram. He's on Spotify, on anywhere you listen to music.
Yeah.
Or buy the album in Bandcamp.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. Deuces.
Peace.